unforgettable in every way. And forevermore, that's how you'll stay. That's why, darling, it's incredible that someone so unforgettable thinks that I am unforgettable too.
Very young wine. I'm going to teach you how to store wine. Dark, cool, and no vibration at all. This is like a baby. This is a very good to say the young wine.
A little happier, here we go. 1, 2, and again. The lady put a hand over Jensen's mouth.
Image of the captain of the days of old, forced to fight the elements with only a giant wheel and the stars to guide his way. But that's the old days. Today, being captain of the Seaward, a modern-day cruise ship, is different. He's the leader of a crew of 600, social host to all 1,600 passengers on board, and the guy taking us cruising for the week, for it is his duty as the master of the vessel. He oversees the safety of the ship from his working office on the bridge, a master control center which puts virtually all the ship's functions at the captain's fingertips. Speed, direction, rudder, and the pitch of the ship. The bridge is filled with computers which monitor all ship sensors and functions, and computer printouts of every alarm, no matter how insignificant. There are satellite links for shoreside communication and navigation, radar to detect oncoming ships, land, and the unexpected, and of course, the automatic pilot for the open sea. The ship's navigator is constantly recalculating our position every hour and double-checking the navigation computer and depth chart because of the ever-changing weather, trade winds, and Caribbean currents. Backup systems to backup systems. And when in doubt, there's always the stars and the ship's magnetic compass located outside on the wing deck to avoid the electromagnetic interference from today's new high-tech bridge.
We have a lot of navigation officers that divide the 24 hours a day between them. You always have people that know what's going on, and they are navigating the ship through all kinds of weather and all kinds of water.
These are the same guys who drive the ship when the captain is called upon to perform his official duties, including your captain's party. Still, the call of the sea has long been an integral part of the culture of these truly professional mariners. For the sea has been the workplace for generations of trusted seafaring Norwegian officers.
It's a tradition for young people to go to sea. We had a big merchant fleet some years back. We still have a pretty big one.
Built in 1988 at a cost of $180 million, the Seaward end-to-end is almost 710 feet. That's longer than 2 football fields, taller than a 19-story building, and wider than the distance between home and first base. It is designed for luxury, but it is the people of 50 different nationalities, a mini UN, working together for a common goal, so that you will remember
that we do something that is right, that they can go home and feel that they have had a good time on the ship.
It's very simple, you know. One day I see that girl.
Valentine's Day, he brought me a ring.
And on top of the strawberry shortcake was a cherry. On top of that was my engagement ring.
After 3 months, I asked him, "You want to marry me?" She said, "Yes." I said, "Okay."
Oh, that's super, super.
Chanting, feeling hot, hot, hot. Keep up the spirit. Come on, let's do it. Feeling hot, hot, hot.
And one captain.
She is a modern-day marvel of elegance and grace, with a style and beauty to behold by those blessed by her callings. She is the Seaward, your home for the week.
This is the control room of the ship.
Meet the chief engineer.
Basically everything on the ship is controlled from here. There's not much, there's not going through here. If you go and get a shot by the doctor, we don't know about that. But besides that, most everything else we know about.
It is the job of the chief engineer to make sure the Seaward can get us there. He runs a little city that never sleeps and is located in the 2 decks below the waterline. Here you'll find the 4 diesel engines, each the size of a double-deck bus. They produce as much horsepower as 300 cars, generating enough electricity to light 375,000 light bulbs, and a water treatment plant that can produce 3 million glasses of water each day. The engine room, an around-the-clock operation manned by a crew of 28, led by a chief engineer with an advanced degree for the sea, a DD.
Diesel doctor. Diesel doctor, well, it's just like a medical doctor. Medical doctor handles a human machine and I handle a diesel machine. We have spare parts and they have spare parts. And my arteries get clogged and so does a human body's artery get clogged. So basically the physics is the same. If we start over here, you will see a little screen we have for all the freshwater tanks. They're operated with pneumatic valves. Then we have the switchboard for the generators. We have 3 generators run by diesel. And then we have 2 shaft generators. They are hanging onto the shaft of the main engines that produce, when we can shift in and produce power, running the main engines. Right now we're running generator number 2 and 3. And we have about 2 megawatt power at the present. Everything you see in front of you here, it's basically the things that have to do with the main engines. We call it the main engines because it strictly gives us the propulsion and run the propeller. Sulfur diesels, Sulfur made in Finland. They operate on diesel or bunker C, grade 6 as you want to call it over here. That's the same thing almost as you drive on your car. Not in the car, but on the pavement you drive on, it's about the same thing. We have to heat it up, and we keep it very hot, 110, 120 degrees centigrade, and then it would be just like diesel. The minute it goes into the cylinder and starts the combustions. It's very, you see the liquid turns into be fog, kind of smoky, and that's crushed. 1 hour running 2 main engines and 2 generators probably use about 650 to 700 gallons an hour. And in 1 hour with 2 engines, that's 18 miles. Approximately 18 nautical miles. It's a little high on gas, I guess. That's when they go in. That's the stabilizer of the ship. If we didn't have them and the ship had some rolling, we call it, we would go like this. And then back again, like this. But this thing, you will feel it goes like this. Because when these start to function, it would stop the movement and bring the ship back up again, like a little harder. We have 2 propellers. About 14 or close to 14 feet in diameter, 4-blade hydraulic operated propellers. If you go on top of the ship here, you will see back by the pool, on board the pool there, that's 1 blade standing there, so you can look at it. It's kind of look like a little art piece, but it's a propeller blade, and we can use that anytime. We make the fresh water on through an evaporator system. We take the cooling water of the main engines and heat up the seawater. It has to be heated up so we can flash the salt out of the seawater. Instead of just running the cooling water through a heat exchanger and let the heat go right overboard, we use it to make fresh water. I don't know. I wasn't going to go to sea. I ended up at sea. Everyone back home went to sea. I'm coming from a little tiny city. Everyone had been at sea. My father, my brothers, and that's been a good job. And it's fun. I mean, it's interesting in some ways. Of course, you have to give up a lot by being away from families and stuff, but...
Now, is it true that you sleep with a teddy bear?
Yeah.
Is there one in particular that you have a preference for?
No.
Okay, 5 mediums. Mediums, no mark, okay? All right, guys, step up.
Is nothing short of organized chaos. The nightly ritual of trying to serve 1,000 hot meals in 20 minutes. And that's just the early seating. You call it dinner. We call it the galley line. A chorus line of demanding waiters and busboys who are directed by the executive chef. It actually started 2 weeks ago. That's how far in advance we have to submit our grocery list. Then on Saturday in St. Thomas, they deliver our food and supplies for the next 7 days. Over 20,000 different items must be monitored by the provision master. The executive chef can be found dockside, checking for freshness and quality.
Because we're in the ocean, we can't turn around and stop someone and say, okay, let's go to the Kmart and get some more butter because we're out of butter. We don't get a second chance.
Our weekly shopping list includes, for fruits, 14,000 apples, 10,000 bananas. For vegetables, 12,000 pounds of vegetables. For the main course, almost 35,000 pounds of meat and poultry and seafood and all those lobsters you'll be eating. And that's no bull. Plus the staples, 700 gallons of ice cream, 1,200 gallons of milk, 1,000 pounds of coffee, 20,000 eggs, 6,000 pounds of flour to help bake the more than 130,000 rolls and 25,000 loaves of bread, and all those pastries you'll eat this week. That's our weekly shopping list. But it's what we do next that turns it into an eating experience.
Galleys in all sorts of areas here on deck number 1, deck number 2, deck number 4, deck number 9, deck number 10. We've got kitchens everywhere. What we do is we make all this preparation, all the basic preparation we make downstairs in the deck 1 and deck 2. We have 2 seatings on board here. On any seating, we normally have in between 800 and 1,000 meals are served. That's hot meals. That's just hot meals. That's not including the appetizers, the salads, the desserts and the soup and everything else that goes with it. And then we bring it all up into this finishing galley. Now there we have a huge line where we have about 30 cooks all standing serving at the same time. All the waiters, we've got nearly 100 waiters and busboys all in the galley at the same time.
Getting it served hot to you in 20 minutes is where the organized chaos part comes in. The executive chef working together with his assistant, the sous chef, make sure that each and every plate looks good enough to eat and is worthy of the galley line. Now a growing chorus of waiters trying to get your food, but we'll come back to that in a minute. First, meet the dishwashers, a 12-man crew feeding 2 huge dishwashing machines with 30,000 plates and cups and saucers and 20,000 glasses each day. And no, they're not available to take home. Now, about the leftover food, that's ground up into a fine pulp and turned into environmentally safe fish food. That's the food you didn't finish, for there is virtually nothing left of what we ordered for the week. Now about your meal. Back to the galley line. For tonight's chorus, dinner is about to be served.
There's a lot of work going on behind those scenes. Like there's 60, 70 cooks, you know, besides the sous chef and the chef. And these guys put in 16, 17 hours a day sometimes for the passengers. Very nice. The work that is behind the scenes for them is 100%. We're here to serve the passenger whatever they want, they get. Really, actually, sky's the limit.
Okay, 5 mediums. Mediums, no mark, okay? All right, guys, step up.
job that I love.